SiriusXM NBA Radio. Tune in weekday afternoons to Give and Go with Rick Kamla and former player Antonio Daniels. They'll have the latest news and updates, plus break down the biggest stories so you're ready for the action on the court. That's Give and Go weekdays only on SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86. Brought to you by Angie. Angie makes it easier than ever to connect with skilled pros to get your home projects done well. From repair to remodel. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
The new NBA app is happening and has you covered from coast to coast. And live tip-offs at your fingertips and highlights right as they happen. Catch every can't-miss moment before, during, and after the game. And behind the scenes like you've never seen. It's all access, all the time. All in one app. Because if it's happening in the new NBA app. So get the app today.
Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, or however you stream in the house.
Nobody brings you the excitement of Formula One racing like SiriusXM. Let's go, come on! Hear every thrilling lap of a worldwide championship chase.
Verstappen takes the lead in the Grand Prix, and Hamilton couldn't hold it off.
Plus comprehensive pre- and post-race coverage.
That was the best race I've ever seen.
The 2023 F1 season rolls on north of the border. Sunday afternoon at the Canadian Grand Prix. Live coverage begins at 1 Eastern with Lights Out Racing at 2 Eastern on ESPN Extra Channel 81. Yep.
Hall of Fame special. If you miss any of the show, get it right now on the SXM app. Survival.
I know you're fed up, ladies, but keep it heavy.
And swag.
P-Clown, baby, taller you down, I get around.
Explore the life and music of hip-hop legend Tupac Shakur on the Tupac channel. The Tupac channel for a limited time on Channel 104 starting this Thursday. Or listen throughout Black Music Month in the SXM app, included in all trials and popular plans.
Breasts are halos, so how can you expect your business to win against adversaries without the right protection? CrowdStrike, the official cybersecurity partner of the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team, has redefined safety and security for the modern enterprise. The award-winning CrowdStrike Falcon platform harnesses the speed and power of the cloud to manage risk by staying ahead of adversaries, protecting modern businesses against cyber threats and stopping breaches before they happen. By providing unparalleled protection against cyber attacks, CrowdStrike powers organizations across industries and the millions of people around the world they serve. That's protection at every turn. To try CrowdStrike for free and start protecting your business today, visit crowdstrike.com/XM. That's crowdstrike.com/XM.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kylie.
Yeah.
Kendall starting 5. It's such a good shirt though. Yeah, it's a really good shirt. She's got a type.
Oh, let's take a break. Malika Andrews from the Mothership will join us from Denver. Does she think it ends tonight? She sat down with the Joker, the challenge of interviewing the Joker. We'll talk about that coming up next. More phone calls as well.
DeAndre Ayton with the baseline spinning jam. This is DeAndre Ayton of the Phoenix Suns. And you're listening to SiriusXM NBA Radio.
Coco Jones to Smokey Robinson will discover priceless sonic treasures.
Season 2 of the SiriusXM original podcast. All music is black music. Now on the SiriusXM app, included with all of our trials and popular plans.
Great things are happening on SiriusXM's Joel Osteen Radio.
Every day, you're blessing my life with these words of strength.
The inspiration 24/7.
God says he always causes you to triumph.
Just to hear you and your words of encouragement really helped me to get through those tough times. I'm so grateful that you're on the radio. I am so blessed by your messages.
To hear Joel Osteen Radio, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
For the first time, I guess since Game 7 against Boston, but only second time this playoffs. The big news, Eric Spoelstra confirms Tyler Hero is a go. All hands on deck, says Spo. Amy, let me start with you. what realistically can we expect from Tyler Hero?
Well, if his number gets called, I think when Tyler's on the court, you have to respect him as a scorer. So stretching defense automatically, right? You hope he can knock down a couple shots. That's been problem number one for Miami, really, in this finals. And so, I mean, I'd like to go to the scoring side. Of course I would. But, I mean, 20 points a game in the regular season, I don't think that's realistic. But certainly defend him. And, I mean, we've got the opportunity to see him. He's got his swag, so he'll look good.
Anything is possible, I mean.
Yeah.
What kind of question are you asking that lady? You trying to create an international incident on this program?
You're right.
Anything is possible.
And here, amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artist you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Young, another long three off the pass, and he connects on his third triple.
And you're listening to SiriusXM NBA Radio.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici, let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe. According to me, and people who love the universe, and that would be you too. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my, won't you be my, won't you be my neighbor? I think somebody heard about that. That TV cartoon character back in the day. What a beautiful day. It is actually June the 12th in 2023. And it feels like Denver, Colorado may celebrate a championship tonight. But Tyler Hero's back. Will he be a hero? What did Tina Turner say? We don't need another hero. I don't think her voice was as raspy as mine. But do they need another hero? He had his hand broken. His knuckles were dislocated. They were in his palm. Can he come back and find that shooting touch? I don't know. But what I do know is Denver, they have everything going for them tonight to what did Teddy Pendergast say after the Denver Nuggets win the NBA Finals tonight and everybody's left? He said, turn off the lights, give me some praise, and light a candle, and then when somebody doesn't turn the lights off, Teddy says, turn them off! Really forceful, makes you want to turn the lights off. Don't turn the lights out on Big C Sports. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on 27 podcast applications all over the universe. You can find Big C Sports Podcast on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Spreaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. Oh my goodness, I love the Podchaser app. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on GeoSavan out of London, England, as well as India and Africa. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on YouTube, Podtail, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Policy, Podcast Republic, Good Pods Podcast, and the only one that everybody is talking about now, I've been saying it for a while, it used to scare me a little bit, is allfeeds.ai. Give that some praise. The robots are trying to take over. I don't know if we want to praise the robots are taking over. What did Teddy Pendergast say? For every artificial intelligence, you got to put on a switch that says, turn it off! And make it sound like Teddy. That'll turn him off. That brother could sing, the late, great Teddy Pendergast. All fair and level. Where you can also follow Big C Sports Podcast, streaming OTT on 4 TV platforms all over the universe. You can find us on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. You better have a smart TV, or you might be sitting there looking at a still picture. I had some good old boys from Comcast working on an ad, giving some praise. It said, yeah, it's time! Big C Sports! All over the universe! Okay, they have their own version of saying it the way I want to say it, but it's all fair and level word. Really do appreciate the growth that's happened with Big C Sports. You can hear it all over the world, and I just give God praise for that. Well, giving God praise. And I also want to give praise to our Veterans Crisis Hotline, because they are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. They will stand on their head to get our veterans some help. You know, anybody going through issues, pick up the phone and call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give them some praise, because our first responders know that we all need somebody to lean on. I know I do. And when you're leaning on somebody, make sure, what did Teddy say? It's so good loving somebody when somebody loves you back. Okay, that means you got to lean on somebody. What did they say? Lean on me. Come on, give me some breeze. When you're not strong, then I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long, for I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Enough, Terry. In case I broke some of your speakers, it's better to have my voice break your speakers than to have Guido come looking for you because you didn't pay your bets. 800 Gambler. If you're the guy that has somebody trying to lean on you because they want to get some of that money, it's a double entendre. Sometimes leaning on you feels good. Other time it feels bad. When the bookies come looking for you, they're gonna lean on you. They're gonna lean on you real good. But it's not gonna be the kind that feels good. 800 Gambler. If you like giving your credit card to strangers, you don't know their name, you don't know where they live, they could be calling you from a toilet. 800 Gambler. They tell you they come with substantial risk. Now tonight, because Tyler Herro's playing, there are some good boys that saying, hey, I think Miami has a chance. Everybody has a chance. I have a chance. But Denver's not going to lose tonight. And I might be wrong. They were a 2.5 point favorite. In game 3, they won, I think, by 15. They were, I think, a 3.5 point favorite in Miami in game 4. I think they won by 14 or 15 points. And now they're an 8-point favorite at home. Now the betting side, which I don't bet, but for the betting side, it looks like Las Vegas knows that Denver's gonna win tonight, but they left a little bit of room for the people that want to see if Miami can cover. So the point spread is 8. So say they win 108 to 102, they win. And they don't cover the spread. So watch if Miami can cover the spread tonight, but they're still going to lose. Give that some praise. Now, I might be wrong. Miami, in order for Miami to win, they got to play like Scarface when he says, say hello to my little friends. That's how they got to play tonight. But John Morant's not on their team, if that makes sense to you. So they don't have a shooter's chance. They have a shooter's chance, but the kind that they do on the court, if that makes sense to you. Maybe that's not as funny as I tried to make it. Got to have some levity. Some people get so uptight. It's all fair. The NRA understands what I'm saying. You got to have a shooter's chance to beat the Denver Nuggets and them their hills. Not only altitude 5,280 feet, so it's over a mile high. And now they have a team that was at home in front of a whiteout in them their islands in Miami, and they could not win a game. Miami lost their 2 home games by double digits. They lost their 2 home games by double digits. And now they're going to go on the road They couldn't even stay within 8 points at home. How are they going to stay within 8 points on the road in Denver Hills, Colorado? And Hero, if he has broken knuckles, 800 gambler, I'm not saying for him, but if some of you good old boys don't understand how much pain you have when you have broken knuckles, he not going to come out and shoot like Jesus Sutherworth tonight. That's my story that I'm sticking with, the 800 gambler, if you like giving your credit card to strangers. I want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then he said, let there be light. Also asked to MC the National Black Wall Street Project in Southern California with President CEO Reverend Tony Pierce, President CEO of the National Black Wall Street. Really looking forward to that. Very honored for that. But I do want to say, for so many people that wanna be careful with the games, be careful. I love doing what I do with Big C Sports. I think I'm the only sports show in the universe. I always produce the show. I do my own show. My show is fresh daily. I have this penchant for some red meat. But you know, steak tastes better when you have it cooked medium rare. You know, not where the blood comes out like a lion's trying to eat it. But you want to have a steak cooked medium rare, where you can just sink your teeth into it, and it almost feels like you're chewing on a salad. The steak was seasoned so properly, but the only problem is I didn't make it big enough. I wanted to go back and eat 3 of them. It's only the size of my hand. And the steak was so good, but my show is the same. Is you gotta? It tastes so good. If you ever taste something that tastes so good, give that some praise. Give that some praise. You gotta season it with a little bit of. I'm gonna give away some of the recipe. Little brown sugar, little lemon juice. I ain't gonna say how much. And it tends to come out, it tastes sweeter, if that makes sense to you. I always honor God. I always walk and talk by faith, not just by sight. I always produce the show. I always direct the topics. Number 3, I broadcast all the shows. Number 4, I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We should all have more laughter in our lives. I do the commercials and the stats provided, the storytelling, and the play-by-play, what you'll hear tonight in Denver. Jamal Murray for 3! That little boy shoots like he's Steph Curry, if that makes sense to you. And then the show is uploaded to 27 multiple podcast platforms out of New York City, and then 4 TV platforms. Number 10, I never missed a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew back in the day, and I want to give that some praise. Not too many people will say, hey, you can do it. I worked with so many people over the years. My first opportunity around professional sports and broadcast was a broadcast where I actually worked and got paid. It was Fox Sports with the late John Madden and the late Pat Summerall over in San Francisco. It was a Thursday night NFL football game with, at that time, the San Diego Chargers, now the Los Angeles Chargers, and the San Francisco 49ers, which are still San Francisco, but they're down in Santa Clara. And I remember that. And to go on from there to do Super Bowls, NBA Finals, World Series, college championships, track and field, United States, track and field. It's nice to be able to say that Big C Sports Podcast is getting more praise all over the world. I want to give that praise. I really appreciate that. I love paying homage like no other show in the universe. I pay homage to my beautiful family legacy. And I start with my beautiful mother on my mother's side. My great-grandmother called her Mama, beautiful, loving, kind woman, always making sure there's love in the family and lots of food in the belly. Really do appreciate her. And then my great-granddaddy called him Pop, former military man and former Negro League baseball player, known around his church buddies as making the best moonshine in the history of the universe. And for saying, boys, get out of that barn now. Really do appreciate him. The real MacGyver could fix anything, planes, trains, and automobiles. Really do appreciate Pop, just a great man. And then my beautiful grandmother called her Mud Deer. She was beautiful, loving, kind woman. She was a seer. She could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, in their future. She still helps me to this day. And then my beautiful grandfather, Hezekiah, another wonderful person, a seer, could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and then coaching all boys and Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Give my mama some praise. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and then coaching all boys and Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. In an all-men's league, they were always trying to intimidate mama. They play James Brown. They say, "This is a man's world." She said, "Hey, but it would be nothing without a woman or a girl." Hey! I appreciate my mama, the best person I ever met in my life. In fact, at the church, everybody wanted Mrs. Curry's cooking. At her restaurants, everybody wanted Mrs. Curry's cooking. And at home, everybody wanted mama's cooking. She said, "Son, how many plates have you had?" I said, "Curry for 3." My mama, a lot like Dr. King's, would say, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward and be home before it gets dark outside." Get that praise. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you gotta keep moving forward and be here before it gets dark outside. Oh, Lord have mercy. I love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. The best person I ever met in my life, and that's when I was 16. Still had to be home before the lights, before the street lights came on. By the time you hear those songs or commercials on TV, it's 11 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? Well, yeah. I love my mama with all my heart, mind, body. So then on my beautiful father's side, my grandfather called him Albert Curry. He was a pastor. He had 2 churches in Oakland. He built the 3rd church in Central California with his own hands. And then he owned 2 gas stations in Oakland, one on Badcroft and the other on Foothill. But he also owned 40 acres of land. Like the Emancipation Proclamation, where Frederick Douglass was working with President Abraham Lincoln to craft the Emancipation Proclamation, where every free black man was supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. Unfortunately, when President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, then President Andrew Johnson came along and he vetoed the bill. He gave the land back to the people that waged war in the United States of America. He gave the land to the insurrectionists. That would be like when the good old boys stormed the nation's capital and they were singing, "Hang Mike Pence." That would have been like Congress giving the Oval Office to the Proud Boys. You say, "Oh, that would never happen." Oh, that would never happen. It did happen. President Andrew Johnson. You see, Lincoln never took the Emancipation Proclamation off the books. The segregationists did. President Andrew Johnson, he was a bigot. He owned slaves. Could you imagine allowing the Ku Klux Klan to determine the payout for the Emancipation Proclamation? For them to be fair, they were not fair. And no president since President Abraham Lincoln has sought to correct what he did. And that, to me, is a miscarriage of justice. If anything, you're supposed to honor what a president puts in writing. And because President Abraham Lincoln, you got to understand this, the South did not win the war. The Union won it. And part of the gift for black Americans helping the Union win the war is the 40 acres and a mule. The segregationists, the South lost the war. Why did they get rewarded? Because President Andrew Johnson was a bigot. Just like the Ku Klux Klan. Why would you trust the Ku Klux Klan to ferret out justice? That's why reparations are due, and you got to give that praise. If you're the dumbest person in the universe, you still know that you're dumb. But you also know that you need to repair what you stole, if that makes sense to you. Really do appreciate my granddaddy, and then my beautiful grandmother, working side by side with my grandfather with the 2 churches in Oakland, building a 3rd church in Central California. And also I was in her hallway. I was 8 years old, and I was tiptoeing through the hallway trying to get some more cookies. It's like 10 o'clock at night, and she touched me on my forehead, and it shocked me because she normally went to bed. She normally went to bed about 8:30, and so she touched me on my forehead. She said, "You seem like you're in a hurry. What are you trying to do? Go get some more cookies?" I said, "Cookies? I said cookies and baby crap to what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get my reparations." And some cookies would help because it took a long time. But always speaking life into me. Really do appreciate my grandmother. And then my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure the airplanes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. Always saying, develop your mind to its highest extent. My dad's the first one to tell me about the SR-71, the Blackbird that can fly from Los Angeles, California to Washington, D.C. in 1 hour and 8 minutes. Could they use those engines now on the 747s? They're sitting in museums all over the country. The technology has already existed. But I also know that my dad in the Air Force, he told me his roommate was the late Al Freeman Jr., who played the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in one of my favorite movies, Malcolm X, that was written and produced by the great Spike Lee and acted by my favorite actor, the great Denzel Washington. And I love the part in Malcolm X where I think he was going to dinner with Katharine Hepburn. And he said, when they said, "What's your name, sir?" He said, "King Kong ain't got nothing on me." That's the same. Some people say it was Sidney Poitier and gets who's coming to dinner. Sometimes I get my movies mixed up. All for love it one. But you understand the point. Listen, sometime I don't. Come on, give me some praise. Speak right down. But still I know what I am talking about. Why can't we be friends? 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 And that's what we're asking for as they pass reparations, because it benefits everybody. We all benefit from it. Really do appreciate my father. Love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. To my beautiful brother Todd, with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning. With Todd we speak, always saying go forward. A voracious reader. Always loved talking sports and politics. And Todd, one of our favorite movies outside of Malcolm X was actually Pulp Fiction, with Vin Rames was in a fight scene with Bruce Willis, and he told him, he said, "Your butt goes down in the 5th round." And he told him, he said, "Say that it's before the big fight." And Bruce Willis said, "Okay, my butt goes down in the 5th round." And he told him what I think the Denver Nuggets are going to tell the Miami Heat tonight. He said, "That's stinking sensation you feeling? Well, that's just pride bumping with you." And he said the way only Vince Rain could say it. He said, "But pride." He said, "Take that money down to the bank and get your reparations." But I remember him saying, "Pride only hurts, it never helps." He said, "Basketball," he said what the Denver Nuggets are saying to Miami. He said, "Basketball filled with a lot of unrealistic motorly buckers who think their butts gets better with wine, like fine wine with time, but it don't. If you mean in terms of vinegar, then it do. If you were going to be champion, you would have already been the champion. Now take this money and go down to the bank and get your reparations and give me my praise." I think that's what, I think they got that. I think they got that tonight. I think Denver's gonna cut down the nets. Unless Las Vegas is fooling everybody. Think about it. When they were on the road, they were a 3.5 point favorite and a 2.5 point favorite, Denver was. And they won both games by double digits. I think 14, 15 points. Now they come home, they're favored by 8. Tonight, it's going to be another double-digit win by Denver. And unless Las Vegas knows something I don't know, I thought it would be 6 games. But I realized Miami doesn't want to play dirty. They want to be nice. And I wasn't joking when I said the way the Detroit Bad Boys built up their reputation is not because they were being nice. They were poking people in the eyes. They were kicking people in the mid part of the body. They were elbowing people upside the head. Bill Laimbeer, Dennis Rodman, Isaiah Thomas, and that's how they won championships. They were intimidating people. Miami has to play like Scarface. If they don't have an attitude, say hello to my little friend. If they don't have an attitude, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, they're going to go home tonight, hero or not. What did Tina Turner say? "We don't need another hero." Because he had broken fingers, broken knuckles. So his shots are not going to be the same. Anyway, I love to talk with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Then my beautiful daughter, Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years from a major university. Very smart, erudite, beautiful. One time she scored 6 goals left-footed in a soccer game. It was like Daisy Curry for the goal, the goal, the goal. She was golden, and she's right-footed. So Amber Dexter scored 6 goals left-footed in one game. The best, just amazing, amazing. Daisy also set up the very first interview for Big C Sports. Oh, I just had an epiphany. It was back at Salem Media. It was the first time in the history of the United States of America that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network. It had never happened before until 2 black men in the crew. Yeah, I still got the letter from station management. Called us the Dream Team. But some insurrectionists said if 2 N-words can do it, we can bring in some insurrectionists. And they did. And it created shenanigans. And the show went away, and I'm still expanding. Been invited to co-MC the National Black Wall Street project. I'm so grateful. Because I've been talking and singing about reparations for about 5 years now. And there were times that people said, oh, that's never going to happen. And I said to some of those knuckleheads, you know, there were people that said slavery would never end also. There were people that said that black Americans would never have the right to vote also. There's a book called The Color of Law, and it showed how racism and discrimination have been intentional. People aren't born out of the womb thinking that way, but they're trained by other bigots. And when a bigot has a baby, they teach the baby to be a bigot. And then when they get into Congress, like some people, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, when he was asked about should there be reparations paid to descendants of chattel slavery, black Americans in the United States, and Mitch McConnell said, oh, I don't believe we should have to pay reparations for something that we stole over 150 years ago. His great-granddaddies owned slaves, over 14 of them. I think all but 2 of them were women. What do you think they were doing, those beautiful Nubian black women? Think about that. He still has blood money in his bank from ill-gotten gains. He has unclean hands. But if you ask a bigot, why would the segregationists and the bigots who lost the Civil War, why would they be rewarded with the money and the land and the property? Oh, that's too long ago. Really? It's not too long ago. It was not too long. We're going to celebrate the 4th of July coming up here in about 3 weeks. And people are going to celebrate the 4th of July with the stain of knowing that they've not repaired the biggest sin this country's ever known. And that's called slavery against black Americans, descendants of chattel slavery. Even the United Nations believes in reparations, and we're going to get it till you get that some praise. Daisy, I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. She would also help me set up when college coaches would come to the West Coast and do work with Big C Sports. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Then my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College student, very smart, erudite, a good man. As I always tell you, Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against you will prosper. Always trust God no matter what. Malcolm helped me save trees. I used to always get newspapers and turn through newspapers looking for stats on players and teams for Big C Sports Podcast. One day, Malcolm said, Dad, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went off. I've been Googling ever since, now on 27 podcast platforms and 4 TV platforms. And one day, Malcolm said, Dad, do you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say, play Big C Sports, and you'll see your show come up. That's before it was even on the air. And now it's on 4 TV platforms streaming, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. And coming to a 5th TV platform soon. I'm one beautiful, intelligent black man. I give God all the praise, and I give God praise with everything I do. Yeah, I do want to be a billionaire. Bob Johnson has been my media idol. My media idol since he owned BET. He didn't have $15,000 to rub together when he bought it. Sold it for over $3 billion. I think Tyler Perry's trying to buy it back, and I think Tyler Perry's trying to buy it, and other people that are trying to buy it too. But it should also it should also go noted that you got to ask for things that you want. Malcolm, I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then Big C, with all that wealth of knowledge over the years, like my great-granddaddy coming out of that barn with his church buddies, always saying you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe. Let's get ready to rumble. I love saying welcome to the show. As we nominated Big C Sports Podcast, I have no scripts. I have no TV teleprompters, no producer in my ear. I do it with my higher self. And when I first got started in broadcast, I was in a producer's truck with Fox Sports. There were about maybe 30 people in the truck, and they had 2 trucks. And I think I was the only black person in the truck. And now I got the #1 sports show in the universe. I do it by myself. I don't have people researching for me. I don't have people sitting there handing me notes. I don't have a producer or a director or someone doing editing. I do it myself. I want to thank the Associated Press. Janie Hard did a story on Charlton Curry of Big C Sports and Reparations. It was March 29th, 2023. She also mentioned Vice President Kamala Harris, President Joe Biden. She mentioned California Governor Gavin Newsom. She mentioned California Senator Stephen Bradford, who's responsible for the NIL that helps college kids get paid. And there are people that say that, well, that's never going to happen. They're getting paid now. Because you don't listen to stupid people. Only listen to smart people. Don't even answer the phone for people who are jealous or envious, or if they're naysayers, if they're negative, don't talk to them. Don't even talking to them. Because people said, oh, you're never going to pass NIL. There's some white coaches that said, if they start paying these black athletes, I'll quit. They haven't quit. Dabu Sweeney is one of them at Clemson. He's still recruiting black players. He didn't quit. So did he lie? Also, California Task Force Chair Camila Moore. But I got a lot of passion I just got a lot of passion in things that have happened. And there's a family out of Southern California that got their land back in Southern California. And it was also spearheaded by Reverend Tony Pierce, President and CEO of the National Black Wall Street. You know, there are people don't even know about it. And what I learned from the great Reverend Tony Pierce, President and CEO of the National Black Wall Street, he says the checks will not be televised. I'll say that one more time. He said the checks will not be televised. So for those people who think, oh, it'll never happen, you're probably right. It won't happen for you. I want to also pay homage to and please Google what I say. If you can't find it, what I say, don't believe me. And there's no other sports podcaster or broadcaster that will tell you Google everything they say. You can Google the Justice for Uncompensated Survivors Today Act of 2017. I'll say it again. The Justice for Uncompensated Survivors Today Act of 2017 is United States legislation that requires the State Department to report to Congress on steps that 47 countries in Europe have taken to compensate Holocaust survivors and their heirs for assets seized by Nazi Germany and post-war communist government. And we give them praise for that. Where's my money? Where's the money for black Americans? Slavery lasted 1619 to 1863. It was fully ratified in 1865 because even though they were free, some slaves didn't know they were set free. They didn't have the communication. Would you believe that still in 2023, there's no internet access for some parts of the country in the poorest regions? No internet in 2023. So when slavery was abolished in 1863, some people didn't hear about it until 2 years later. Don't tell me it's not possible to be left out when these checks are deposited into the ACH, your checking account. They're saying some sites from KTLA Los Angeles was saying that black Californians could receive up to $1.2 million in payments, and some are saying $5 million based on the San Francisco Chronicle. But it's going to happen. United Nations Human Rights Chief calls for reparations in the United States to make amends to repair the damages of slavery. And you got to give that some praise. I'm talking about a lot of things that make a lot of sense to me. I really do appreciate it. I want to make sure Juneteenth, the National Black Wall Street Project 2023 Summit Awards and Barbecue is Saturday, June 17th, 2023, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. in beautiful Southern California at the historic First AME Church in Los Angeles, California at 2270 South Harvard Boulevard in the beautiful city of Los Angeles, California. And there's so many great things, solutions now that are being proposed and put together that lawmakers can make happen. And that's something I want to give praise to. I'll be invited to co-MC that event. Really do appreciate that. I want to just get on tonight. A little bit different show. Yeah, get that praise again. That deserves more praise. I want to get on tonight the NBA Finals because I predicted it would go 6 games, but I'm gonna redact that prediction. Unless Las Vegas unless they're gonna hoodwink us, I don't think Miami has a fight. And I say that because they haven't had a fight. I'm not saying fight anybody, but I did know that the greatest basketball player in the history of the universe, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he was poked in the eye at UCLA because they were unbeatable under John Wooden. People couldn't beat them fair and square. As a freshman team, they beat the UCLA defending national champions. Would you believe when Kareem got drafted into the NBA, they were still poking Kareem in the eye? That's why he started wearing goggles later in his career. They said, man, we can't beat this guy. He's dropping 30 points a game. He has a sky hook that goes all over the universe. He couldn't block his sky hook. It was out there by the Milky Way galaxy. So people said, you know what we can do? That big old guy with the sky hook that wraps around the Milky Way galaxy. They said poke him in the eyes. So they started poking him in the eyes. They started poking Kareem in the eyes so he couldn't see. He only shot 1 3-point basket in his career. And he's still the NBA all-time scoring leader. Oh, Curry, you don't know what you're talking about. That's LeBron James. No, I said the all-time NBA scoring leader for 2-point baskets when Kareem played. They didn't have a 3-point shot during his entire career, but he only made 1 in his whole career. The rest were 2-point baskets. Imagine that time that he was playing college basketball at UCLA. If you were to add those points into his 38,000 plus points, he'd be over 42,000 points. He had over 3,600 points at UCLA. What if he played in the NBA the whole time? And you gotta look at that because he wasn't shooting 3-point baskets. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. He's still the best. But they still poked him in the eye because they wanted to win. When Dennis Rodman was choking people and putting them in the eye, I'm not saying do that, but I'm just saying. Who's that good a boy for the Golden State Warriors? Draymond Green kicked LeBron James in his good pastor. And it cost Golden State a game because they suspended him. Well, Miami, you got nothing to lose. What did Leon Spinks say one time? I'm not gonna say that joke that Richard Pryor said, but he said something about I ain't got no money, I ain't got no teethus, and I definitely don't have no driver's license. So it was okay if he drove because they were gonna take his license away. They were already taken away. But if you poke someone in the eye or you give someone an elbow like Dennis Rodman or Draymond Green, and it helps you win the night, you may get suspended for Game 6, but at least you'll have a Game 6. But I don't think Miami has a Scarface mentality to do it. The Heat will look to stay alive, but I don't think it's going to happen when they take on the Denver Nuggets in Denver Hills, Colorado. Game 5 of the 2023 NBA Finals is Monday night. And what did Rice Stewart say? He said, tonight's the night. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. I think the Denver Nuggets will get their first championship. The Nuggets are 53-29. They seek their first ever NBA title. They took a 3-1 series lead on Friday, 108-95 in Miami. Denver has won 9 of 10 home playoff games. The one they lost, Murray missed a 3-point game to tie it against Miami Game 2. And you think about it, the Heat, they're 44-38. and Miami is just the second number 8 seed to make it this far in the postseason. And they joined the 99 New York Knicks, and the Heat have won 4 of their past 6 road playoff games. But I don't think they have it in them tonight. So the game's already tipped off at Ball Arena. Well, they'll be balling in Denver, and tipped off at 5:30 p.m. East Coast time. Actually 8:30 p.m. East Coast time, and then 5:30 on the West Coast. So the Nuggets come in as an 8.5 point favorite in the latest Caesar Sportsbook, and they're trying to get Miami to cover the spread. So it might be a tougher game because sometimes your sphincter gets a little bit tight when you're trying to close out. So the sphincter might get a little bit tight on Denver, and Las Vegas is hoping that maybe they'll win by 8 points, so that people they won't cover the spread in some eyes. But I think they're going to cover that spread. I think they're going to win double digits. Nothing's shown me that they're not a double-digit winning team. In 3 of the 4 games, they won by double digits. So you can listen to Sportsbook, or you can listen to Big C Sports. Whatever you do, it's your money, and make sure you don't bet what you cannot afford to lose. When I think about, and again, I'm not a bettor, and everybody has their own thoughts about betting. I don't get into it because it's a way to lose your money. But there's a lot of good boys. They never tell you they're going to pay you back if you lose everything. They just don't. But some of the NBA trends for the Nuggets and Heat, the Heat versus the Nuggets, the spread's 8.5 for the Nuggets. The Heat versus the Nuggets, the over-under is 210 points. Well, Miami's had a hard time even scoring 100 in 3 of their losses. They haven't even cracked 100. And Denver's been averaging about 110 points a game. So I think it's going to go over tonight. In the Heat versus the Nuggets, the money line, the Heat are plus 310, the Nuggets minus 400. Now for Miami, the Heat are 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 road games against a team with a winning percentage of greater than 600. That's why the spread is so high at 8.5, because in Vegas will love if Denver wins, but don't cover the spread. That makes sense? All the money's pouring in on Denver tonight. If there were going to be an upset, it would just be you have to play like Draymond Green or Dennis Rodman. They don't have people kicking you in the good pasture and poking you in the eye. Miami's too nice. They're too nice, and that's why I think it's over tonight. Now, the Joker, the 2-time NBA MVP, he's playing like he's a 3-time MVP. And when you got Gordon dropping 27 points, it makes it easier for Nikola Jokic. If he's going to stay dominant in tonight's game, in Friday's Game 4 victory, he only played 37 minutes, but he still got a double-double, 23 points, and 12 rebounds. I think he'll have a triple-double tonight. He'll probably get around 32 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists. He also had 4 assists and 3 steals and 3 blocks. He's averaging 31 points a game in the series and 30.1 during the postseason. I think what Steve Kerr for the Golden State Warriors call the head of the snake is Jamal Murray. He's been a perfect complement to Joker's play. The point guards, he's dropping 27 points a game, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds, and 1.5 steals, and he's playing about 40 minutes of action in the postseason. He's had 3 double-doubles and 1 triple-double. It's like the In-N-Out game, the In-N-Out burger. The double-double, the Big C burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with, man, what's all the exotic meat? Some people say it tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hands. Most things in life taste better in your mouth than they do in your hand. But Game 4, he was limited to a series low of 15 points, but he dished out a series high 12 assists, and that's why Gordon was so pivotal, dropping 27 points. Gordon came out of University of Arizona, and he should have won a slam dunk competition that he's still upset about. But he's a great player, but he doesn't have to be great because you have the Joker and you have Murray. And then when Kentavious Caldwell-Pope starts doing his thing, then you have a tough time beating that team. So Jimmy Butler has been Miami's offensive catalyst. He's leading the team in scoring 16 to 21 postseason games. He has reached double-digit scoring in all 21 playoff games, including 16 with 20 or more. and 5 with 30 or more, and 2 with 40 or more. He's going to need to drop 40 points tonight for them to win. But I think he's been, what do you say? Father Time is undefeated. Father Time is undefeated. But he needs a 40-point performance. He dropped 56 against top-seeded Milwaukee. In the first round, he's averaging 27 points a game, 6.5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals per game in the playoffs. He also has 4 double-doubles. But he can't do it all on his own. Caleb Martin's coming off an 11-point, 5-rebound game in Game 4. In 22 postseason games, including 4 starts, he's averaging 13 points and 4 assists per game and 1.5 rebounds. I think Micah Malone wins the championship tonight because you can only do so much when you don't have the players. Yeah, Hero's coming back tonight, but he was out the first 4 games because of a broken hand or some broken knuckles. Then how's he going to come back in and knock down Breeze in this game? Hey, they have a shooter's chance. There's a good thing and a bad thing about being a great 3-point shooting team. The bad thing is sometimes people they'll go 3 for 15, they'll keep shooting. They can be 4 for 20, they'll keep shooting. At some point in time, if you're 3 for 10, go to the basket. If you're 3 for 18, go to the basket. If you're 3 for 21, drive the basket. And they just don't do it. So in my opinion, the Heat, they have an outside shooter's chance because the Nuggets might play tight. They might play tight because they haven't been here before. It's like being on their first date. I was watching this video, and this girl, a man and a woman, they had a lady, her friend came into town to spend the couple nights because they hadn't seen each other in a while. And then the wife comes home, and her husband's outside by the pool and giving the girl a massage. And the wife said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Oh, we're just talking." And she was watching the massage go on for a good minute. It's one of those internets. It wasn't even real. But watching this massage go on for about a good couple of minutes, and she went out there and broke it up. And they said, "Oh, we were just talking." But the wife saw the massage going on for about a good minute or two. They say, "What's that got to do with the next game, Curry?" I don't know, just something I saw on the internet. But be that as it may, somebody's going to need a massage after the next game. I think it was the mascot for the Miami Heat got punched by Conor McGregor. Now, I think it was an act because Conor McGregor is a multimillionaire. I don't think that little rooster that's the mascot for the Miami, I don't think he's a multimillionaire. So they talked about, maybe it's all fair and level war. But think about it. He could file workers' comp or sue McGregor. Maybe it's I don't know. Life is what it is. But maybe it's just a joke. But it was a skit for the featherweight and lightweight champion. He blasted the Miami Heat's mascot named Bernie with a pair of punches during a skit in which McGregor was promoting his line of cooling pain relief spray, which all of Miami might need tonight. But at the same time, at all fair and level war, they promote everything. Give promoting things some praise. They got to praise it as much as they can because that's the way love goes. I love the fact that we have so many great sports. To me, it's a little bit sad that NBA is coming to an end tonight, and I hope that I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I doubt it. I've been the only person, in my opinion, in the universe that said that Golden State would beat Boston last year in 6 games. Not only 6 games, I said they win their last 3 games by double digits. Only Big C Sports says that. And there were some people that said that Boston was win. Not only did I pick Golden State to win in 6 games, I said their last 3 games would be double digits. And I was right. There were some people that said, "Oh, Curry, you don't know what you're talking about." I was right. Because I've been charting so long, I got the feel of it. And so, tonight I think is over in Denver. And that's my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. Because if this is, all we have is baseball, and then football goes on. They're always talking about football, what could happen in football, and who's gonna go where and when where. But just in case it's over tonight, I want to go back to 2010. The Lakers beat the Boston Celtics 4-3. In 2011, the Dallas Mavericks beat the Miami Heat 4-2. In 2012, the Miami Heat beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 4-1. 2013, the Miami Heat beat the San Antonio Spurs 4-2. In 2014, San Antonio Spurs beat the Miami Heat 4-1. In 2015, here comes the Splash Brothers. Golden State Warriors beat Cleveland Cavaliers 4-2. 2016, the Draymond Green Special created the Cleveland Cavaliers win in 4-3 over the Golden State Warriors. In 2017, it was the Golden State Warriors Splash Brothers 4-1 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. 2018, it was a Golden State sweep 4-0 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. In 2019, the Toronto Raptors 4-2 over the Golden State Warriors. Durant went down. Thompson went down. 2020 in the bubble, Los Angeles Lakers 4-2 over the Miami Heat. And in 2021, the Milwaukee Bucks 4-2 over the Phoenix Suns. In 2022, last year's champion, the Golden State Warriors 4-2 over the Boston Celtics. And now, just now, we don't know what's going to happen tonight. But we do know that the Denver Nuggets, they have a chance. They have a chance to do something that they have not been able to do. And that's win an NBA championship. Will they get it done? I don't know. I know they might be a little bit tight when the game starts off, but it should settle down. The crowd's going to be nuts. They may be trying too hard, but who knows? And I want to give that some praise no matter what happens tonight. I love NBA basketball. I think they do a fabulous job of that. I want to also remind people for the National Black Wall Street Project Summit Awards and Barbecues, Saturday, June 17, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the beautiful First AME Church, Los Angeles, California, 2270 South Harvard Boulevard in Los Angeles, California. Put on by Reverend Tony Pierce, President and CEO of the National Black Wall Street Project. I look forward to being co-MC with that event. I love so much about the sports world, and everybody has their own opinion about who's going to win tonight. And really, I know NHL has its own thoughts too. NHL might be feeling a little bit ignored because everybody's focused on the NBA. But NHL has its own thoughts. It's just not as exciting as it is in the NBA. It's not the players' fault. It's not the players' fault. But that's a series where the Golden Knights lead 3-1 over the Florida Panthers. And we will see how that goes if it's going to be one more game and then done. But tonight is all about the NBA, the National Basketball Association. Why so many people love NBA basketball. It's fast-paced. You're up close to the players. You can actually have the sweat of the players if you're in the front row. Well, they say, I must be in the front row. You can have the sweat of NBA players if you're up in the front row. Not that you need the sweat of NBA players up in the front row. Everybody has their own thoughts about being sweated on by... Do you want another person to sweat on you? Sometimes it's a good thing, but usually it's not when a stranger's walking around sweating on you. Like the great Patrick Ewing used to sweat on everybody. He used to sweat on everybody. The great Patrick Ewing, one of the hardest working men in show business, but that's just the way it was. I think we'll get a new champion crowned tonight in Denver. It's a great sports town with the Colorado Avalanche, with the Denver Nuggets, and the Colorado Rockies. I think the Kroenke family, they've won championships with the LA Rams. I think they won championships with the St. Louis Blues. If they win a championship tonight with the Denver Nuggets, that one Kroenke family, they would have had 3 championships and 3 major league sports in a few years. Give that some praise. All within about 4 years. You got to give that praise. They say money talks, and reparations now, reparations forever. We all need reparations now, reparations forever. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you, there's never, ever an excuse for drinking and driving. If you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Mothers against drunk drivers are mad. Fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Call Uber, call Lyft, call a cab, sleep it off, whatever it is. The life you save, it may just be your own. Well, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man, and he would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali may say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat, because all the Big C burgers make me land on my feet. That's why I float like a butterfly, and I sting like a bee, and I rumble, young man, rumble. My beautiful mother always says, there's never, ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. That's my story. Pick up the phone, call 911. Things change when the police show up. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, I'm telling you, please, 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 let's pay attention to everybody having a super fantastic day. On every Big C Sports Show, I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day. And I want to pay homage to the great President Abraham Lincoln when he said, reparations now, reparations forever. To honor the great President Abraham Lincoln, reparations now, reparations forever. And one more time to honor the great President Abraham Lincoln. Reparations now, reparations forever. Have a super fantastic day.